Hello and Hello and welcome to the Afro Dominion Show. My name is Freeman Singirankabo, and thank you so very much for tuning into our program today. Those of you joining us live, especially if you're joining us live from various platforms that we use, be it television, radio station, or social media, welcome guys and happy Friday to each and every one of you. We are super excited for the opportunity to be here to hang out with you guys as we round up this week in the making, guys, and super excited again for the opportunity to see each and every one of you guys joining us live. Those of you who can, and shooting us some some feedbacks as far as what we've been talking about this whole entire week. And to those of you who are not familiar, we speak very boldly, we speak truthfully, and we speak with no apologies to each and every one of you guys who continuously tune into our programs. Why? Because the content that we get to share, the content that we discuss or we talk about, these are the content that we care very deeply about. These are some of the most important issues that's been lingering around within ourselves, within our families, within our communities, and we just have never had any opportunity to voice them out until now. So you can imagine how exciting this season is for all of us here at Afro Dominion, and we also want to make sure that we extend the opportunity to each and every one of you guys who want to be a part of it. And with that in mind, guys, I also want to let you know that the conversation and the programs we have here at Afro Dominion are programs led in the spirit of truth, love, and trust. And these are the benchmarks by which we would hope each and every one of you to measure both the validity and the integrity of the content that we get to share with you every single day that we have broadcast. Call us out of anything and anything that you feel that it's out of order. Call us out if you see any mistakes. Absolutely help us rectify or set the record straight. Anything that you deem or that you believe it's inaccurate. Because one of the things that we do every single day, we add value. We hope to add value. We want to make sure that what we share with you, it's accurate. And we want to make sure that it's full transparent. It is fully transparent in any way you slice it. Those are the benchmarks. Be it me or anybody else on the show, we want to make sure that what we discuss, what we share with you, it is truthfully, it is true to the core. Whether it makes you happy, whether it makes you cry, whether you feel other feelings about it, so long as it's the truth, that's all we care about, guys. Because we stand on the truth boldly, and want to make sure that we do not sacrifice the truth for our personal emotions or feelings about this and that. All right. So with that in mind, guys, welcome to each and every one of you. Today we have Friday on the 13th, and it's quite a busy day as we wind down this week. And I want to make sure that we jump right in the conversation. And those of you joining us live for the very first time, welcome. I want to give you a quick brief about what the show is about so that you are aware of it. Especially that if this is for you, you come and join us. And if it isn't for you, get out of here as quickly as possible. Because we want to make sure we don't waste nobody's time. And with that in mind, guys, what is Afro Dominion? Afro Dominion, it's an idea that inspires, advocates, encourages, even goes to the extent of helping you, brothers and sisters, sons and daughters, kings and queens of Africa, to take the full dominion of Africa, one nation at a time. One nation at a time, all in the interest of African people first and foremost, and the rest of the world afterwards. So the show literally is a representation. It's a mouthpiece of these ideas, where the programs literally inspire. They literally advocate, and they literally encourage each and every one of you, help each and every one of you to take the full dominion of Africa, one nation at a time. We're talking about you, kings and queens, sons and daughters, all of you, brothers and sisters, and African descendants. And we want to make sure that we do this in the interest of Africa and African people first and foremost. Why, may you ask? Isn't that discrimination? No, it is not discrimination. We want to make sure that our house, we keep it in order first and foremost, and we don't get no handouts in doing it. It is our responsibility, and therefore you are the one to drive the agenda. You are the one to be responsible, to take the accountability first and foremost before anybody else. And unless you can take it this way, you're always going to be a slave with a hand sticking out, calling out everybody and everybody to come at your rescue when you can do it yourself. So I want to say no to that. We want to make sure that if it is our responsibility, it's our responsibility, and we take it as it is. So even with you as you come forward, even with you as you join in the conversation, even with you as you help, as you help another brothers and sisters, we want to make sure that we are the truly responsible party, first and foremost, regardless of what's happening. We have to get our house in order, and we have to do it together. And this is why we're here. And I also would want to give you an extension of that huge welcome to come and join, and join the rest of our brothers and sisters, and make sure that you do your part as well. And with that in mind, I want to make sure that you know how to get in touch with us. I want to make sure that you know how to reach out to the rest of the brothers and sisters. Come straight to our website, which is www.afridominion.com. www.afridominion.com, and make sure that you also shoot us an email in case you want any information that you cannot easily find while we are live. The email is info@afridominion.com, info@afridominion.com. While you're at it, also visit our groups. We have various groups there, especially the like-minded groups. This is a group where you can find everything that we do in the backdrop, everything that we do behind the scenes. We would love to invite you to come and be a part of it so that you participate as well. And last but not least, those of you who have been wanting to help us out. Some of you usually say that, you know what, you don't want to be in front of these cameras, but you are more than happy to help. We also would love for you to use those contacts and get in touch with us. We absolutely would love your financial help, your creative help, your time. There's so much work, so many things that we could use your help in. And we are truly grateful in advance for those of you who are able to do that. And again, truly excited and truly thankful for the opportunity to serve you guys. And with that in mind, guys, also, I want to let you know that our broadcast is broken down into 5 days with different themes, with 5 different themes, and every day has its own theme. Today on Friday, we talk about the current event and how it impacts Africa and African people. So Monday through Thursday, we got different themes as well. And I want you guys to explore, to come and be a part of these themes and come and be a part of the program. We are fully responsible for the programming from its inception all the way to the, to the closure credits of everything that we do. So here, we cannot take any excuse. If it's good, it's ours. If it sucks, it's ours. Bottom line, we are responsible. So every single one of you who want to be a part of this bandwagon that we are leading ourselves, come forward, and I am super grateful, very privileged for the opportunity to serve you guys. So what we got going on today, since it's a Friday, we want to talk about the current events and how it impacts our brothers and sisters, Africans brothers and sisters. What we want to talk about today: who's the boogeyman in the Rwandan genocide? UK slave/refugee trade with Rwanda, and CHGM, sexual exploitation. Those are the main things that we sort of like have identified to be one of the most reoccurring themes or topics that's been really taking over this week. Though not exhausting, this is literally one of those issues that's just not dying, that's not going anywhere, and it's been lingering around back and forth to the extent I just have no idea how long this is gonna take before it dies off. But there's something else also extra that I want to talk about, and I think I should actually start with this before we jump right in, so I don't forget. Those of you who are familiar with Dr. Mukwege. So Dr. Mukwege is going to be in town. He's going to be in town. Let me see. I do believe it's next weekend. Next weekend, Dr. Mukwege is going to be in town. And those of you who are not familiar with Dr. Mukwege, he's a renowned He's a renowned doctor in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. If they can find a picture of Dr. Mukwege and throw it to the screen for the people to see. He's an oncologist, a Congolese doctor, and he's been doing so much work, guys. He's been doing so much work, helping helping vulnerable women, especially women who have gone through a great deal of rape in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, and he's been beyond helping, and he's also received the Nobel Prize for his work. Guys, if you can put his picture on the front, so perhaps the people can get to see it. So Mukwege is going to be in town. He's going to be here in Washington D.C. Also known as the DMV, D.C., Maryland, Virginia area. So on the May 21st, yes, it's going to be on Saturday in the afternoon. Mukwege is going to be in the DMV. And there is a movie screening that's going to take place. And I was looking for the, let me see if I can find a flyer. One of my brothers sent me he sent me the address. I will see if I can actually forward it quickly so you guys can get to see what it is. But why am I mentioning Mukwege? Mukwege, he's a champion. He's a champion. He's been working hard. Okay, so they put the picture there for you guys to check it out. And I want you guys to come on weekend. Those of you who can come to Washington D.C. and explore, find out what's happening, find out his work, and the movie that's gonna be screened out. So Mukwege has been busy helping the Congolese women, sexual violence, atrocities in the Congo. He's been on the forefront of it, and he's also been a beacon of light in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, mainly saving lives, and also becoming an advocate. He does advocacy work as well, while he's also saving lives. So those of you who are going to be able to come forward and come and check him out, I think you guys will have a great time. And I think you're looking at me scrolling down on his on his website. I wish that they had actually the flyer there. And I believe the conversation is called. Let me see if I can actually find it. There is a screening movie called Empire of Silence, which is a part of which is a part of the reason why he's coming in the DMV to screen the movie. Let me see if I can find actually the flyer, and then I'll show it to you guys. Empire of Silence. Now, why am I bothering to actually talk about this, guys? This is a part of those things we are to promote, because this is something that's very important for you brothers and sisters, because if we do not promote our own work, nobody else will. U.S. premiere, May 21st. And I believe this initiative, it's put together by the Friends of the Congo, quite, the usual organizations that we get to work with, left and right. My apologies, I am not seeing the flyer, but I will. Eventually, before the show is over, I'll do my best to make sure that we can share it. We can share with you guys this particular flyer, so that you can come through. It's gonna be on May 21st at 3 p.m. Here in Washington D.C. DMV. I'm not gonna mention the address up on the on air, but I will make sure that I will make sure to actually Oh, I think I may actually see the address. Let me check here. Let me check, guys. Apologies, guys. Apologies. Eventbrite. So it's on Eventbrite. Empire of Silence. Let's see if that comes through. Oops. Empire of Silence. That doesn't seem like it's the correct. Empire of Silence. Anyway, it seems like it's not coming through. I was hoping that it was coming through right now. Eventbrite.com, Eventbrite / Empire of Silence. Anyway, from the look on the flyer, it says it's an Eventbrite Empire of the Silence. Those of you who want to check it up on the web, I think you might be lucky to find the actual the flyer. And if you can't find the flyer, we'll find out. I literally will find the link at the end of the broadcast and make sure that I share with you all about it. Why does this matter? Again, because that's what I just started off. That's what I started off with. I want to make sure that those of you who aren't familiar, who are not familiar with the work that we do, especially those of you tuning in for the very first time, you get to have the opportunity to know exactly what it is that we do and why we're doing it. Remember, I keep on telling you guys that we are fully responsible for the programs that we have here, and consequently, we choose and pick. We literally choose what we want to discuss here, especially if it deems to be relevant to our people, or they actually have found the they have found the link from me. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. So, and because of that, we want to make sure that we come to the forefront of everything that we care deeply about. Mukwege does a lot of work, and because he's been doing a lot of work, we want to make sure that we support everything related to some of this work, especially that it's helping millions of people. It is helping a lot of families, and those of you guys who, if they can project it right back to the screen so you guys can see it. L'Empire du Silence. I think, okay, I guess it's the Empire of the Silence, the movie. It's coming, this is a flyer on an Eventbrite. I will leave the link right there for you guys to see. And I believe the trailer, it's on, the trailer, it's also on the web, if they can release it a little bit so you guys can see it. Hopefully.
Le peuple congolais est massacré depuis plus de 2 décennies au vu et au su de la communauté internationale.
Des milliers sont morts. Donc ce sont des vérités que certains ont tenté d'étouffer.
There's a very serious group of crime that I think had never been investigated to satisfaction.
Il y a eu des milliers de morts. On ne saura jamais exactement combien. Les corbeaux ne savaient plus voler tellement ils avaient mangé de chair humaine.
Ces gens nous ont guillotinés, ils nous ont tués.
Quelqu'un qui a brûlé 1000 maisons, qui a brûlé des centaines de gens, on le nomme capitaine, on le nomme colonel. Il faut tuer 1000 personnes pour devenir général au Congo.
Those who have committed these heinous crimes have to be held accountable. People have to see them convicted and punished.
In the mapping report, it's the first effort of the United Nations to try to document and tell the story of the suffering of millions of Congolese.
Ce rapport, c'est un acte d'accusation. Pratiquement aucune juridiction, aucun tribunal ne peut aujourd'hui s'en servir.
Mon pays est systématiquement pillé avec la complicité des gens qui prétendent être nos dirigeants.
On a la moitié des députés qui considèrent que pour avoir accès aux ressources, on peut tuer.
Aujourd'hui, on recommence les mêmes erreurs historiques qui ont mené à ces 20 années de conflits, de massacres, de viols.
Ayons le courage de révéler le nom des auteurs des crimes contre l'humanité pour tout simplement éviter qu'ils continuent d'endeuiller cette région martyre.
Empire of Silence. There you have it, guys. Thank you guys for the for actually playing that little clip. Now, what's been happening, guys? It's crazy because now it's going towards 32 years now, and we're still talking about right now. And the Boogeyman, it's still alive and it's still well, which actually brings us back to. It brings us back to the very first issues that I want to talk about, guys. Those of you who are not familiar of the Boogeyman concept, guys, we are treated like children. We are treated like children, where you are told to run away from the Boogeyman, especially Africans, guys. How is it that in Rwanda right now, 32 years after, the United Nations still talks about there is a team of experts who have been looking for for genocide suspect, for Rwandan genocide suspect, and the most recent one has been found to be dead in Zimbabwe. And guys, there is one thing that I want you guys to understand: the Boogeyman concept. It's a monster who has to actually be identified in order for you to sleep better. So the same case has also been attributed to Rwanda. Since 1990, you are convinced that there is a Boogeyman who basically has to be attributed, who has to be credited for everything that's been happening. Now, there's one unfortunate part. The United Nations is one of the biggest, one of the main suspects of the Rwandan genocide. They're the one also who are running the Boogeyman project. They're going after all the genocide perpetrators. They've been going after them, minding you that they only go after the people they want to go after. So when I listen to this, especially now that I'm, now that I'm grown, it buffers my mind. It buffers my mind. The fact that people have died. People have died on the watch of the United Nations. People are still dying on the watch of the United Nations. And they still have the audacity to talk about the Boogeyman. Like, we have a team of experts. For 30-something years, they've been tracking the genocide suspect. They've forgotten criminals in the Pentagon. They forgot criminals in a lot of these high institutions. Criminals literally living today, still alive, still living well. A lot of suspects who will never be bothered. Who will never be bothered. They have explicitly decided this is whom we are going to follow. And this group of people is off limit. Oftentimes the true masterminds are off limit. Because the same Boogeyman that's being searched, the suspect is searching for the Boogeyman. The suspect chooses when the Boogeyman has to be chased and when it stops. And here we're talking about justice. Are you serious, guys? Are you serious? And this is where where this actually becomes very interesting to you, brothers and sisters. Until you decide, until you choose to go after justice yourselves, Don't you ever, ever, ever expect the United Nations to bring justice for you guys. The United Nations is a suspect in the problem. So imagine I'm a suspect in a crime, and I'm actually the investigator of the crime. Can you expect to find justice out of it? Rwanda, the government of Rwanda, the Rwandan Patriotic Army, turned into Rwandan army right now. Its leaders, all suspects in the genocide, all suspects in the crimes against humanity, today are well protected. Today, no one single one of them has yet to face trials of any crimes committed by the army, by the rebel group, so to speak, and then also by the army after. They seized the power. And we are still talking today, and a group of experts, a group of United Nations experts, tracking down the genocide, the Rwandan genocide. Are you killing me, guys? They have yet to track the suspects in these beautiful buildings. Suspects who are in a well-established institution, fully well documented, to have participated into the atrocities. Yet they do not bother going there because it's outside of the scope. Carla de la Ponte, the UN prosecutor, she attempted to do that. She was quickly removed and she quickly died because she decided to take the vehicle in a highway that was not sanctioned. That is the United Nations that you young people must know. And so today when you see a claim that another genocide suspect has been found to be dead since 2006, you wonder, 2006 and right now we are 2022. 16 years after, you are being told that the individual has passed on. With all the resources that the United Nations has, do you really believe that you're not just being fed a boogeyman? Guys, anybody that they don't want you to find, you are not going to find them, especially when they are in charge of the investigation. And anybody that you can seek and find, you will find him. If you venture away from the demarcation lines, there's nothing under the sun, guys. If you truly seek, you will find. If you truly ask, you will find. Seek, you will find as well. If you ask, you will be given answers. If you knock, the doors will be open, guys. But you have to be bold enough if you want to go there. You just can't be asking and then as soon as they get, you get a pushback and you stop. So what am I saying? History is going to actually judge us, literally. Today, we are growing. We were just children back in those days, in diapers. But now it is on us. It's falling in our laps. There are certain things that's taking place today that we cannot excuse ourselves with. We are part of it today, inevitable. So what are you going to do different than what our fathers, our grandparents have done? Today you cannot have the same excuse as what they have been using for the past 10, 20, 30 years. Come on. I mean, you can choose to have the same excuse, especially if you're working for the same boogeyman. If you're working for the same boogeyman, the same boogeyman organizations, quite evidently, you will sing the song. You will dance to the same music. But at what point will you actually be truthful, guys? That's where we're headed today. And we are not afraid. to speak the truth and nothing but the truth, and so help you God. The truth is expensive, guys. The truth is expensive, but the question is, are you bold enough to pay the bill? Are you bold enough to speak up? And are you bold enough to assume the responsibility, the fallout, everything that comes along with that? I think that's one of those premises that we have to carefully examine, because everything that's happening has a price to it, especially the deception that's been going on in Africa, on the African continent, for many decades. Rwanda is just another piece of deception, adding to what's already been happening. But I believe the difference is that today we recognize the deceptions. Today we recognize those who pretend to be good guys, and we know they're not good guys. Today we recognize the institutions that are actually uprooting. I think actually it's not even just uprooting. There are institutions before uprooting. That we have institutions that are actually strengthening the culture of death, strengthening the culture of deception, strengthening the evil taking place within African context, within the African community, within what's happening amongst his brothers and sisters. And we gotta say no to all of this, because it's a responsibility that we have. So the search for the boogeyman in the Rwandan genocide continues every single day, guys. Oftentimes, when there is a situation that's taking place, and that situation requires that you get a little bit distracted. A genocide suspect comes to be found. They literally found another genocide suspect. The same way in Rwanda, in the month of April, they always found another dump of people who have been, who have died out of genocide. They found a bunch of bones, mysteriously, of other suspects killed somewhere in those holes. And you would imagine that for the past 30-something years, a nation that's been scrutinized from thought to hate, that all those victims would have been arrested. But no. Because those fresh pit holes are, and they have been holding the new death. They have been they've been the new homes of the new murders, new killings by the Rwandan Patriotic Front. But conveniently, everything has to be given it has to be given a name. Someone has to take the blame. Why not pin it on the suspects who are dead? Why not pinning it on the genocide suspects who have already been pre-identified? It's a pretty genius move, guys, if you think about it. And until that milk is over, it has to be milked over and over and over and over. And this is where you young people have to be smarter. You have to succumb, you have to rise up to the challenge and realize that you're drinking the Kool-Aid. You're too grown, guys, to be tricked like babies. The boogeyman does not exist only in your head. And the boogeyman can be anything and everything so long as it's convenient at the time being. And that's what's been happening right now. Anytime there is a situation that must be managed, the boogeyman has to come out. Get to know that, guys. Get to know that and get to know how to manage that. So, stay away from the boogeyman, because the boogeyman is a story of children. And if you continuously feed into the story, that tells you of who you are, as a people as well. We know the boogeyman We know that he exists, and for the reasons that he's existing today. So come on, guys, let's say no to the boogeyman. Let's say no to the boogeyman. Moving on to the next hyped up story. It's not actually a story. It's something that's been really falling out. It's a fallout. That's how I call it. The UK slave trade. The UK slave/asylum seeker and refugee trade with Rwanda continues to receive backlash. And the backlash, it's guys, let me also say that I appreciate to see a lot of you guys speaking out against this. But I hope you can do more than speaking out. Some of you are speaking out because you've been caught off guard. Others, you're speaking up because you're getting paid to speak out. I want to see those of you who are speaking out because you are concerned. Not because of any other hidden agenda on the side. Nothing wrong with making money. Any opportunity you find to squeeze some lemon and make some lemonade, I understand. But there are some things that you young people, you brothers and sisters, you have to realize how it's being managed. The story is there because it's making money, billions of money. It is not so much because of the issue, the cause, no. It's money driven, guys. And the majority of the people who are a part of it, in one way or the other, funding are being exchanged. The control as to who does what, the power grabbing. There's so much more than just the story. When it comes to this asylum seeker, the slave trade between the United Kingdom and Rwanda. And you young people have to get to know what time it is. Because your livelihood, your life is going to be disrupted. It has been already disrupted. But this is another round of disruption that's coming. Be afraid anytime. Someone is willing to pay you to do something that they are not willing to do for themselves. Today I was reading, questions continue to be asked to the UK government. And this time around, we're talking about Ukraine refugees coming to Rwanda. Possible. Plus, there's a possibility that Ukrainians are coming. I mean, we already had said that anyway to begin with. But now it's actually being discussed in these meetings. Because the Ukrainians are going towards they're going through the Northern Ireland and they're making it all the way, to the United Kingdom. Through Ireland, they're going through Northern Ireland, and before you know it, they arrive to UK. And so some of these reps or representatives have been wondering, are these refugees also going to be sent to Rwanda? And the response has been silent. On one side, they say, no, these ones are going to stick around. But then they're like, okay, so what's with the discrimination? Off the door, they are discussing a whole lot of things. Just reminding you that Rwanda is not in any shape and form to receive more foreigners. It already has at least its 2 million people that it has yet to settle. But they're taking in more people because of money. But also because Rwanda, it's an extension of the United Kingdom as well. CHGM is coming. CHGM is what? The meetings of the Commonwealth head of government meetings, which used to represent the colonizer. The meeting between the UK and the colonies. Status update as to how things are going. Same thing happening under different names. None of the things that are happening today is serving the interests of the people, guys. You all should know this by now. You should know this by now. So when you see all these fights taking place and a bunch of people joining the fight, just think a little bit further. Who's gaining what? And what about you, the people? Just the bystanders. What's in for you? All of a sudden you're receiving billions of dollars in aid. And the aid, you're never going to see it. It's being shared amongst those stakeholders themselves. And then they have a little nice PR as to what's happening, when it's going to be happening, and and the benefit. Of course, there's going to be a benefit for the person taking in some cash. But I wonder, why is it that they can't give the same cash to the non-profit organization within the United Kingdom to take care of the problem themselves? But Rwanda is more than happy to receive it. As always, Rwanda collects trash. And it's unconscionable that it's happening today in 2022. And none of us, the stakeholders, the primary stakeholder, Rwandese people, are saying anything about it. Oppression at its very best. People whose boldness has been completely severed. Rwandese people no longer speak up for the truth. The majority, anyway. The truth is no longer a part of a lifestyle in Rwanda. They say that the truth is relative to who's telling the truth and who's got paid the big bucks. Imagine, this is where we are right now in 2022. The truth can be spinned in any way, shape, and form, depending on who's getting paid. The integrity, no longer. It's a commodity that you can easily find amongst Rwandese people. And it's so sad. In any case, we have to push forward. We have to push forward until we get rid of the disease. Until we get rid of the disease of Elijah, the disease amongst our people. And if we don't do it, nobody's going to do it for us. So you young people, when you see all these things happening and you feel overwhelmed, it is an overwhelming project to work on. However, the same way it was started, it can also be ended. The question is, are you bold enough? Are you bold enough? Can you stick around? Can you be strong enough and see it through? Now, the effort that started the problem cannot be the same effort that brings about the solution. Granted. However, we're going to have to burst our bubbles to get to the bottom of it. And it's a must do, guys. We have to get it done. Especially if we really are serious about taking back the full dominion of Africa. One nation at a time. There's nothing being done by a human being that cannot be reversed by another human being. It's just impossible, guys. If it's done by a human being, it can also be undone by another human being. But we gotta be bold enough. Bold enough to make it happen. Which means there is a cost to everything that we do. And are you willing to pay? Are you willing to pay for the cost? We are here at Afri Dominion, and we will do that until it's done. And we're hoping they can join in. Join brothers and sisters so we can bring about a good change that speak on our behalf, that speak on behalf of the brothers and sisters, those of you who have been disenfranchised for so many years. I would love to see all of you guys calling out a lot of these colonizers. We have plenty of them. And the thing they call CHGM, the Commonwealth heads of state, the Commonwealth head of government meetings, it's coming, and it's a part of the organization that is very, very, very big when it comes to sexual exploitation of young people. Remember, they're in the business of slave trade anyway, managing you, brothers and sisters, for over 100+ years. The organization is pretty alive. It's changed, named, the names have changed. The leadership, have changed. Same concept. Same destination, different faces. So much restructuring. Making sure that they don't seem to be, it's like changing a name sometimes just so the PR purposes, it's a little bit more subtle. It doesn't change the destination. The ideas, where those ideas came from, are still from the same source. So do you really believe that you can see changes by changing a name of an organization, by changing the leader of the organization, when you haven't touched the destination, when you haven't touched the vision, the mission, and day-to-day operations? Think about it, guys. So CHGM, now it's up in the open now. All roads are headed towards Kigali right now for CHGM. And recently, you've heard a fallout in the sex trade. Rwanda, it's managing a very tumultuous situation where the models, the Rwandese models, also known as Miss Rwanda, are literally speaking out for the first time over sexual exploitation taking place. And this is breaking in the middle of CHGM, not because of CHGM per se, but it's almost like the pressure cooker that just comes prematurely to a big boom. So these young ladies and young men have been trained to receive dignitaries like those of CHGM. This is not the first, this is not the first rodeo for a lot of these young people, unfortunately. And CHGM is not, it's not the boogeyman who's been, bringing these young women and young men into this sexual exploitation. They are clients. CHGM is a client in the sexual ring. This is a big business, guys. The last time I was telling you that this is a $100+ billion industry every year, the sexual exploitation. So Rwanda also has a little pie, has a little piece of the pie when it comes to this, sexual market, sexual slavery. Young children young boys, young girls, females, males are literally sold into slavery, sexual slavery. Every day. They're working every day in the sexual slavery within the country. Very nicely put together by the government. And a lot of times, families, very strong, powerful families within Rwanda running the show. These children are given drugs, they're giving money, they're giving everything in exchange for silence, in exchange for basically keeping the empire running. Oftentimes, they come out when the pressure is too much. They give testimonies. Guys, we are so grateful because today, ever since we started this business of actually recording our own testimonies, we have so much testimonies of things happening that I believe there will be time when some of you may think that these are movies, like fictitious movies, because you have bold people now who are telling you some of the heinous experiences that they have met, that they have gone through, that they are still going through today. And of course, we do the best to protect their identities, some of those who are still in hostile environment, but we're making sure the history would absolutely judge those who have been exploiting our brothers and sisters, those who have been actually keeping the slavery industry alive, be it sexual slavery, be it economic slavery, be it political slavery, be it social slavery. So much of it's going on today, and it's well and alive. And the oldest institution as CHGM, they are at the forefront of it. Not only their clientele, they are clients in the deed, but they also promote the same things today. So young people, it's very imperative that you get to know what time it is. Because the same institution that promotes your destructions cannot possibly be the same institution that you're subscribing at the same time. It's like you hanging out with the slave master after you being raped. Just because, they gave you some food. They gave you some new shoe. You still got raped. And out of pity, out of, in an exchange so that you do not fuss about, they're giving you something. That's how it's done today, guys. People are bought in money. If you refuse to be bought, you get killed. So there is a need for us to protect one another. There is a need for us to have our own police that looks after the interest of our own people. Especially those of you who do come out and you are harmed. There's a need for us to protect you. Make sure that when you come out, you can still live another day. Because the ring is strong, the ring is powerful, but we are even more powerful as a people. The ring is as powerful as we allow it to be. It's the same way like gangsters. If a gangster takes root in your neighborhood, as long as you shut up, the gangster's gonna run the show. Nations are ran by gangs today, by gangsters. Rwanda is a perfect example. A nation that's ran by gangsters, by thugs. Literally, up in the open. And it's been dignified, and it's been whitewashed in a such way that all of you just shut up. So long as money's coming, you can shut up about it. And when we see this, we're perpetuating death, we're perpetuating slavery, we're perpetuating a whole lot of diseases that we are fighting against today. And unless we fight it completely, to the core, to the root, we can see this another 500 years. Easy. And it is my humble desire that we get to fight it permanently, guys. And we get to win also. Don't give it a chance to take hold in your families. Do not give it an opportunity. Because when our sisters are raped every single day, when our brothers are being raped every single day, millions of dollars are getting paid. Millions of pounds are getting paid. Millions of euros are getting paid. Every day, guys, it happens. There was someone once told me that at least I got raped, I didn't get killed. And I was like, my God. When you reach a point where they make you believe that you were spared, you were spared, you were spared, you didn't get killed. You still got raped, but you didn't get killed. So therefore, shut up about it. Can you just imagine where we are arriving? And in other words, you are not allowed to go through the grieving process. You are not allowed to raise your voice over the perpetrators in your rape because you were spared life. Only Africans, guys. Only Africans. And this is the kind of culture that I would love to see us completely uprooting amongst us brothers and sisters. I do not tolerate, I do not accept that just because you are spared, that you have to give a pass. A monster who's done all kinds of other heinous atrocities towards you. If an atrocity is committed towards you, your family, and you are spared life, I'm not expecting that you shut up about it. You have to testify and you have to go all in. You guys, I want you to take a look of what's been happening in the United States, especially a lot of black people have been targeted, the rich kind, mostly. Look at Bill Cosby; it's a perfect example. A whole lot of sexual lawsuit cases, of which goes as far as in the 70s. Imagine, the man is what, like in his 70s, I believe. He's being, he's literally being charged of crimes committed back in the 70s. Some of us were not even around. So if they can follow you for 40, 50 years, why not go all the way in and keep on following the rest as well? Guys, you have to understand that everything that's happening, it is happening for a reason. All men like Cosby, when he is being followed, there's a reason why they go hard and go as far as they can go with those crimes. Now, I have zero sympathy for anybody who's raped. Zero sympathy. But I would wish that it goes around to everybody. That there's no cherry picking into a criminal. Those who commit the crime, you gotta serve time. Now, when another suspect in the crime is the one picking you up, That's a problem. Because that's been one of the things that's been happening. Let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, it's insanely crazy because the Cosby Show, the Fat Albert, yes, like I say, or even in the 60s, my God. This is insane. Now, all of these, sexual assault cases for Bill Cosby's goes as back as the 1960s, and imagine how many more Cosby's, Bill Cosby's, whose sexual assaults have still been have been completely kept under the wraps. Plenty of them. Plenty of them. Now, all of this didn't come out of nowhere. There's a reason why you get punished. They say when you venture in a lane that is not yours, these institutions, they have a funny way to humble you, to take away the power that they've given you, to take away the fame that they've given you, to take away everything materialistically that you have around you. Such is what happened to Cosby and the likes. And this is the same blueprint that's used on you black people in Africa as well. Even though you are a little eccentric, there is a necessity to understand that you are not a subject, guys. They might turn you into a subject, but you choose to become a subject. You choose to become that slave, that individual that's being taught what to do, told what to do, showed what to do, left and right, up and down. Which is why right now, when we talk about what's been happening, especially when it comes to these sexual violences against our brothers and sisters, this is something that we can control ourselves if we so choose to do that. There's nothing under the sun, guys. Everything is done under the sun. You have to cooperate for it to take place. A well-organized teams of perverts do this work every single day. So if such a team can get together and they figure out a way to kill our own people, to disintegrate our brothers and sisters every single day, why can't we find another way also to protect them? It's a choice, guys. It's a choice. It's a lot of work, which is why most of you do not want to be a part of it, because you've never signed up for it. And besides, it's not your brother, it's not your sister, it's not your mother or someone else that you care about. Why should you bother for the time being? That selfishness, it's also part of the conduit that allows a lot of these people, a lot of these organizations to boldly do what they do. Because they know unless you are a part of the mix, you won't come to the rescue. Another brother and sister. And I want to plead that you guys get to see what's happening as a collective assault on humanity, not just a specific family, a specific individual. What's happening, it is an assault on humanity. It's an assault on our culture. It is an assault on our dignity. Every single day it happens. Every single day it happens. And it will not stop unless we decide to take literally We have to take the matters in our own hands to stop it. Because those who are supposed to do it are actually the one running the game, the one running these, these activities. Sadly to say. So, guys, I'd hate to break it to you, the work is not over. The work is not over, and oftentimes it's just the beginning. And it comes down to us us continuing to fit in the system, the slavery system. So we continuously talk about the slavery system at the end of the day because it all goes in the machinery of slavery. All of this broken down into various pieces they all feed the system of slavery at the end of the day. Regardless of what color it is, who's doing what, it is still slavery right underneath of it all. And that monster, we have to fight it, guys. That monster, we have to uproot it by any means necessary. How long it's gonna take, I wouldn't know, to be honest with you guys. But we're gonna have to fight. We are going to have to do it as long as it takes. Hopefully, we can win over quickly and swiftly so that we no longer have to repeat the same thing with many heartaches, with many victims continuously coming on the scene. And we also can get to the healing process of it all, because you cannot start the healing process unless you finish or you get rid of the problem as it is. So it is my hope, guys, it is my desire that we join arms, we join forces and fight over evil. Fight over evil for what it is. And do not waver. Do not waver when it comes to fighting evil. Because evil, when it finds you, it doesn't have mercy on you. It doesn't have mercy on your families. Nor does it have mercy on any nation and its people. So don't get it twisted, guys. Do not get it twisted. Evil is around us. Evil is around us. So let's not give ourselves into it deliberately or ignorantly. Because a whole lot of us people are stuck in it. On the things that may be considered innocent or ignorant. Let's not be that ignorant, guys. When you die for real. You don't die like in the movie. When you get raped for real, not like in the movies. When your life changes, it changes for life, permanently. So none of this is it's a movie script. It's real life for a lot of you. A lot of us. These past 30-something years, it's been life-changing for me. It's been life-changing for my family. It's been life-changing for Rwandese people. And it still is life-changing. It hasn't stopped. Where do you go? Where do you go? Where do you go for justice, guys? You cannot go anywhere unless you say justice for yourselves. That's one of the things that I found out in the end, that we are going to be responsible for the justice that we're seeking. Nobody's going to give you that justice but you, yourselves, your families, those of you fighting together. So do what you got to do. Work as hard as you can, to ensure that all these take place in our lifetime. Sacrifice, because you already are sacrificing. Let's do it once and for all. Do not waver. Do not waver. Get it done. It can be done. We are gonna get it done one way or the other. No exceptions. And there's another part that I love to say to all of you guys, especially those of you who believe that you are little gods. You are just another human being. You may choose to create the most devilish environment. You may choose to do harm, the worst kind of a harm. You know, it's the words I'm using, they sort of like dress these atrocities in a such way that they're not scary for the television, for the radios, and for the social media. But guys, it's rough and it's vulgar. What they do, it's beyond what a decent human being does. And these crimes have been taking place for many, many, many years, guys. But today we are saying, let's recognize what's happening. Let's take action steps ourselves. Let's fight as hard as we can fight. Let's get rid of what we are able to get rid of. What we cannot get rid of, we keep on trying until we can. And let's never waver our right to life. Let's never waver our dignity. And let's never, never, never waver our inheritance. Because that is one of the biggest things that is at stake today. Our inheritance is at stake. But of course, if you do not know what an inheritance is, if you do not care about it, it won't matter. If you're driven by some other interest, that will matter little to nothing. And unfortunately, we've been realizing, we've been seeing how a lot of our brothers and sisters, once you're given a few dollars here, you quickly forget a lot of these atrocities. You quickly forget a lot of this inhumane treatment. You quickly forget where your family just came from. Because now you can use money to take care of you. And never mind the rest of the same people in the same boat. Especially if they chose not to play ball with the same people buying you. So we have some really issues that we have to face, that we have to deal with. The issues that relate to perpetrators in these crimes walking free. Walking free every single day. And they still plan to walk free as long as they can buy themselves, they can buy, their way out. And we want to say no. We want to say no to this kind of lifestyle where you are disrespected, where our brothers and sisters are disrespected, where you are absolutely valued less because you've accepted to be such or to be as such. So guys, without any further ado, let's work together. Let's work together and seek out justice for our families. Render justice. Render justice in the best way we know how. And certainly do not allow the perpetrator to be the one rendering justice, because that's been what's happening for these past 32 years. A suspect renders justice to the victim. How sick is that? How sick is that? And you still call yourselves democratic, and you still call yourself humanitarians. This is a perfect example of how flawed a lot of the systems set up by us human beings are just terrible. However, it's also a good reminder that unless you humble yourself, check yourself in the right position, there are those things that are going to happen regardless. and you won't have a saying in them. This earth is not ours. And the system, the original system, isn't ours. We have refused to listen to the owner of the system because we want to do it ourselves. Yet the understanding we do not have. And every time you take a turn, you bring out the worst of the worst. Consequently, we suffer. But we are too arrogant to say, oops, we made a mistake. There has to come a time when we recognize mistakes being committed by us, by our predecessors. There has to be a point where we accept the fact that we allowing monsters to go, to walk free. We are allowing our brothers and sisters to die with no justice because that's what we have chosen. Whether you're choosing it purposely or ignorantly, bottom line, it's happening. Because there is no way you can convince me that the boogeyman in these beautiful buildings overseas, the perpetrators still alive and well, have yet to face justice when they have rounded around every other soldier to take the fall for those generals, to take the fall for those monster planners, for those architects of the crimes. What's the point of you claiming justice when it's being rendered unevenly? You already set up someone to take the fall for the crimes, and everybody gotta shut up as long as someone says, I did it. Guys, we are marking justice. We've been marking justice for centuries. And that is why today, our brothers and sisters, anywhere that you are, if you've committed crime, if you have committed any crime, especially crimes against humanity, slavery, some of the crimes that continuously follow our lives, our families, our very core, you have to pay one way or the other. Some of you call it, some of you call it karma. Others, I believe that no crimes goes out unpunished. It may not be in the way that we so choose or that we prefer, but every criminal gets judged, including the ones that never gets to be publicly judged. And this world have so many monsters, guys, who have actually killed so many people by policies, by physical means, by perjury, many ways that people have been killed, and they continue to be killed. So make no mistakes about it, guys. What's happening today, it's not new. It is as old as this earth we live on. But we have to be wise enough to realize that the same thing that's been happening, it has been perpetuating over and over and over and over non-stop. It is you who have to stop it, especially now if you come to that realization that something is wrong. Do you know how insulting it is for a crime to take place and then an investigator or the investigator wannabe says, hey, listen, we understand that people got shot today in this neighborhood. We only are going to look for the crimes committed from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. and anybody who's a part of that. And you, the genius people, you get to agree. I will never forget how illegitimate, up to this very day, which is why I publicly really just I have lost respect for big institutions like the United Nations, because they have deliberately disintegrated. They have deliberately they have deliberately brought down justice in a such way that it became zero. They've committed crimes, and they set up demarcation line as to what they were going after and what they were not going after. Because quite obviously, you cannot be a suspect and also indict yourself in the crime. I mean, granted, which is why you young people, you have to realize that at some point, justice is gonna have to be re-rendered. But it's gonna be sad, because a lot of the perpetrators will be dead. A lot of the true perpetrators will be dead. And a lot of them have been dying, which is unfortunate. Why am I bringing this, and why am I saying that it's sad? Nations like the United States, nations like the United Kingdom, nations like Canada, nations like France, nations like the United Kingdom, I mean like like Germany, Russia, China, Australia, they are above the law, guys. Truthfully speaking, they have set themselves above the law. They go out overseas, they go in any one of these nations globally. They cause havoc. They kill who they want to kill, they pursue whomever they want to pursue. They do everything that you little boys can try to do. And you end up in the International Criminal Court. Do you know that the United States is not a member of the International Criminal Court? Did you know that, guys? So how is it that you're going to police the same organization you are not a member of? Think of that, you young people. There are a lot of crimes that when they are being prosecuted, the same criminals cannot even appear in the same court, because those criminals or the institution after the crimes are shielded by default. And you are led to believe that that is justice being rendered. And you actually even write it that justice has been rendered. And you have the audacity to publicly say that justice was rendered. And these are the kind of things that cause extremism among some of those other religious organizations. Because they know that it is so, the hypocrisy stinks to the extent that you can actually see it everywhere. Even with your brothers and sisters, you must realize that there's no justice on one-sided, on one-sided token. If you claim justice, it has to be justice for all. It has to also be justice on the same level, which we have never had. Never had. Because if we had or even if we attempt to have one of those like that, a lot of boogeymen, the true boogeymen, will end up to jail. Especially for issues like Rwanda. The mastermind that's still well and alive today. And they're not the kind of mastermind you're thinking. We're not talking about these poor people. Those that you keep on seeing in newspapers every single day, like they masterminded the genocide. Hell no. Guys, they are true criminals still alive in these nations, and who are going to die without ever facing justice, because that's how the system has been pre-set up to begin with. There are those who have to be a part of the justice system at any given time, and there are those who will never, and who are never to see justice, because they are above justice themselves. So, and as long as we have that, that imbalance, please don't front. Please don't pretend, because we are too old to pretend. We are too old to pretend. It's not good to pretend like that, and so we are not going to pretend. So that's what we're gonna leave it, guys. That's what we have for this week. Those of you who have been looking for the boogeyman in the Rwandan genocide, the boogeyman is still well and alive. The true perpetrators are still alive, guys, up to this very day. Those who have been sent to jail, those who have been executed, plenty of them, have taken the fall. There are those who legitimately have done it also. So to me, where I stand today, a victim who has yet to receive justice, it still is a victim today. And a perpetrator, especially those you have yet to even conceive that they are, that they are perpetrator, are still alive today and laughing at you sometimes also. Both on the international level, but also within the Rwandan Patriotic Front. All up in your face every day for these past 30-something years. So talk about justice. You can start from there. Guys, thank you kindly for the opportunity to have served you. I hope that you, brothers and sisters in Rwanda, take a very good care of yourselves, of your brothers, of your sisters, because slavery is happening with or without you being a part of it willingly or not. You gotta be bold enough to say no. We gotta be bold enough to save our brothers, our sisters from this sexual exploitation. CHGM and the likes are coming. They've always came. But you're gonna have to say, to take some strategy against this, because it's actually killing us one by one. And unless we stop it ourselves, we're not gonna get anywhere. Stop feeding the slavery machinery with different forms. Stop feeding it, guys. Because unless we stop feeding it, the same crimes are going to be perpetrated non-stop. Non-stop. So what could be your roles and responsibility? That's going to be a homework I'm going to leave with you tonight. And I am wanting to, or I would love to wish you guys a beautiful weekend. Happy Friday to all of you guys. And keep on fighting a good fight. Do not be afraid. Do not get tired. And do not waver your love for the people. Do not waver your love for the loved ones. And in the end, we will come out of it victoriously, and we will finish the fight. We will finish the cause. And God, thank you so much to the systems continuously carrying us forward. We are truly grateful for the opportunity. We are truly grateful for the people that we are working together in this endeavors. With that in mind, guys, reach us out to AfriDominion.com. Shoot us an email at info@AfriDominion.com. And until we get to see you guys next time, I am Freeman Singirankabo here at HMG Studio and at our AfriDominion show. Until we see you guys again, have a great weekend, and we will see you on Monday. Peace.